Welcome to
You Matter
in Business.
Your hosts today are Ariel and Miriam, your brand, your story, and your success.
Because you matter in your business.
I'm Miriam Richardson of Enrich Life Coaching, and I'm your host today on this podcast of You Matter in Business. So this week, I'm going to be interviewing Ariel Faith. And Ariel is a commercial and branding photographer. Hi, Ariel. How are you doing?
Hi, Miriam. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Good. So I'm hoping to get to know a little bit more about you today. So let me jump in with, tell me, you're going to have to explain your job to me. What is a commercial photographer?
Commercial photography is basically everything it's a big category. It's all the work done for marketing, whether it's the Coke pictures, it could be product photography, it could be, models, actors, they have portfolios. So it's anything, it's a big umbrella of all those things that are commercially based. So they're photos for commercial purposes, right? Which is different than personal photography, which might be your wedding is personal, your family photos are personal. Those types of photography are more for your personal use. Boudoir is more for your personal use.
Okay. So how does that differ from personal branding?
Okay. Personal branding is kind of a niche within it. Okay. So the personal part is the part I love because it's not just branding a company like the Nike. You have, certain things that you represent that you visually see, you know exactly what you're talking about, that brand recognition, right? Mm-hmm. Different products. We know exactly what it is just by a picture.
Yeah.
Where personal branding is about you, we have to dig a little to get to personal branding. We have to find out what the core values are, what the marketing messages are. There's a little bit of homework that you have to do a successful personal branding shoot. So you do all that research and you work together with a client to come up with what are their goals in the next 6 months or a year, et cetera. So that personal branding is them putting themselves as being in their business. So they are the businesses that they are the business, the realtors, they might be an esthetician. I mean, there's so many different fields that this works for and it's very successful for. The more they show visually, especially with social media being the way it is in today's world, the more people show who they are and what they are, the more they are trusted and liked before they even get a phone call. So that is that brand recognition. And I do it through photography.
So it's much harder, though, to be able to sell a person rather than a product. So what inspires you to be a commercial photographer with a personal branding emphasis?
It was actually a very interesting thing. I've been doing photography for years, but I was way more focused on nature and beauty and macros and all kinds of different fun, creative effects. And I always said I wasn't going to ever do weddings and, babies and families. And that just wasn't there was no passion for me in there. And then I went on this architectural class with the Out of Chicago group. It was a tour through Chicago and we photographed all kinds of neat stuff. But one of the challenges that we had, and I forced myself to do it because I was super, super scared about it. This was a few years ago, was we went out and did street people. So you walked up to people on the street and asked them if we could take their photographs. But I saw something, specifically in the women that we approached. I saw a woman who had lacked confidence. She might have been out there and presenting herself, but you could tell she was struggling. But when we stood there and put her in front of the camera and we saw her as a human, as an individual, and allowed her to present herself in her beauty, there was a change in that woman. There was an absolute paradigm shift because she was seen. So I saw the power of, the confidence building that a photographer can give to a client. And that was just an amazing thing that really did shift my way of looking at photography and people. And then a little while later on a different podcast, I interviewed a woman who was a personal brand photography. And I personally had never heard of that genre. In the United States, it's not talked about as much. It's there. It's been there for about 10 years, but it's bigger in other cultures. And so I literally dug right in, dove in, learned everything I could, everything, I just totally became a sponge to be the best I could be at this and really help women build confidence through this experience. And in that building the confidence, they also build their business. They build confidence in other aspects of their business. The trickle effect of these experiences is really great to see, because it's not just you get nice pictures for your website or you have clean marketing images. They become more confident in everything they do. So it's really a great thing to be giving women. It's similar to what you do, which is why we're working together on this podcast, but it just from a totally different angle.
Yeah, I was going to say that we help them overcome confidence issues, but from a completely different way of looking at it. That's awesome. I think your superpower is that you allow people to be seen. So tell me about your experience. What gives you the credibility to be a commercial and branding photographer?
I think this may sound odd, but I think one of the reasons why I good at seeing people is because the majority of my life I wasn't seen.
Okay.
And I didn't see myself and I didn't see my own value. So having to live through that experience, fight through that experience, years and years of craziness, those things taught me about the inner human and the value of a woman, not in the eyes of a man, but the value of a woman, and seeing your own value and knowing your own value, just as a person, let alone a business owner. I've been in business for over 30 years. I still do residential design, but not as much. But, I'm an expert in the field. I wrote a book, stuff like that. But none of that is important to me because it's the value of helping other people that I shifted. I mean, I build people houses. I design homes for them. But I don't know. There's just something, that's just stuff. People are hearts.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just a different way of helping the universe. I do make much nicer looking houses than most builders, though. But anyway.
I love that. Okay. So I think you probably answered this one, or maybe it's not the biggest issue. Tell me, what's the biggest issue that you think is faced by your clients? Is it that confidence thing, or is there more?
It's connected. I think most women hate their photographs. I think they hate being in front of a camera. I mean, they literally hate what I do, right? So they're like, oh God, I don't want to do that. They think they're too heavy. They think they're too old. They think all these things, right? So it's a huge block to start off with for a lot of women.
Yeah.
And, I know that process of breaking through that block will help them immensely. So it's a matter of teaching them that, and it's very much the know, like, and trust thing. So the more I interact with people in live settings, they become more comfortable with me. And then the photographs become much better. Usually the first few minutes of a photo shoot, I'm just trying to get to know the client. The photographs may not even be real, right? They don't necessarily know that, but I know that. But and sometimes I can, I need you to be comfortable behind that camera. So we play, we have fun. Depends on the client. Some people don't like to play. That's fine too. So I have to learn all those things. I have to get to know the client before I can put them in front of a camera. Super important.
You're an expert psychologist as well when you're dealing with it. But having experienced one of your photo shoots, you do it exceptionally well. So you've obviously got that as a skill. So what is something that you wish that you had known earlier in your life?
Definitely self-value, 100%. I think we are raised in chaos, despite our parents' best intentions. They were raised in their own chaos, so they just did what they did before. or what they know. So I think we have all these obstacles inside ourselves. And for me, it was value. I had none. Mm. And seeing that my value was not how my friends thought of me. My value was not how much success I got in career. It was not coming from my mate. It wasn't coming from my children. The value had to come from something higher for me. And it had to be something that I saw. Mm-hmm. And then everything changed for me. When I could see myself in that valuable place, people will always say things. People will always be, there will always be the negative person in the room. Yeah. But those things don't impact me anymore. For years and years and years, they did. They controlled me. But now that I see myself clearly, I don't worry about those things. Am I perfect? No, 100% not, but I'm okay with that. The biggest room in my house is the room for improvement. But I like that, right? I like being able to grow and learn, keep making progress. And some things are slow and some things you get kind of fast, but that's okay too. I'm okay with growth and I'm okay with myself where I'm at today, but I know I can be better tomorrow and I'm okay with that. So
I love it. You've got a great sense of contentment and I love that. Okay, good. So how do you handle those failures and those setbacks in your life?
Very similar to what you said last week. I actually read a book years ago called How to Overcome the Fear of Success, which was like a mind shift changer, because I didn't realize how much I self-sabotaged because I didn't think I deserved to succeed. Yeah. Right. So I looked at failure very different. To me, failure is like a word we should just throw away. Because it isn't failure if you're learning from it. It's only failure when you decide to stay stuck in it. Yeah. Then your life is a mess and it stays a mess. Whereas everybody has the ability, the opportunity. It might be hard. They might have to hire a coach. They might have to get help. But the help is there, right? That we can get through this crap. Yeah. The crap is not us. The crap happens to us.
I say that
we are not the crap. So we have to learn to just take that and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Don't let it happen to you. Let it happen for you and learn from it and move on from it, having become stronger as a result of it. I love it. Thank you. So how do you stay motivated and continue to pursue those goals, even when you do face those obstacles?
Besides what you said earlier about the motivation of helping others, that's way more important to me than anything else. Definitely a huge motivator in what I do. The other components are, I don't really give myself a choice, if that makes any sense. It's like, I could choose to sit and read all day and sit on the couch. And I've been working in my house for almost 30 years as a self-employed person. So I understand how to do that. Not everyone does. So I know how to compartmentalize. I know how to be at work, even though it's in my house. I know how to be when I'm in the house or at home. I know how to be at home. So I know how to kind of separate those things in a way that is the best for the whole. Mm-hmm. Right? Because when you work at home and you got, I raised children during all this. So, I had babies, I was nursing. It was crazy. But I did all that. And I did it because I had to for them, because I had to provide, because I was a single mom during a lot of those years. So there was no choice for me. I could have sat in my sorrow, but I chose not to do that. I chose to rise because of it, right? Does the flower grow in a pile of manure? Absolutely. Beautiful roses grow in manure. So that was the choice I made. And that, I don't have that now because my kids are pretty much all grown, but the motivation is still the same. Yeah. It's, instead of helping my children, which I still do, but you help other women, right? Mm-hmm. Get to that next level, make that progress, feel good about themselves. you can't help but have a smile on your day when you do that. Ta, 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 ta.
Well, I certainly value you, Ariel. So keep doing what you're doing because it's fantastic. So talk to me about this retreat. So it's the Rediscover, Refine and Rebrand Retreat. Tell me about it. What excites you about it?
I've been working on something similar for quite some time. So the fact that I met this incredible woman named Miriam Richardson, who is a life coach, and the fact that we can come together with very similar motivation, very similar goals, very similar objectives to come together to give women a much more rounded experience where they can work without the struggles of their life, without the children. You know, sometimes when you do things online, you've got the kids in one room, and this allows a woman to come, focus just on herself and her business and her goals, and really take the time and for herself and for her business, and see where she wants to take it, what she wants to do, what's important, what isn't, and just take the time to really do that. And you bring that to the table because you add that coaching element, which I have literally been searching for somebody who had some of these components for quite some time now. So needless to say, when I met you, I was excited. And the fact that you are willing to share your expertise with us is even better. And then you have a much more strategic photograph session. Once a woman has gone through a lot of that inner work, that photography session will just be so much better than if I had a 1-hour discovery call and we just talked about those goals, and I do a little bit of background research and we have a Pinterest board. Those things are all still good to do. And we will do them in the retreat because we have some pre-retreat processes where we get into some of that stuff, the questionnaires and some of that. But during the workshop itself, the coaching workshop and the branding retreat part of it that you bring to the table, that will really help make those images much more strategic, much more aligned to their brand, and have a lot more meaning for them because they did all that inner work. So they'll be able to share them with joy instead of fear.
Exciting. It's going to be great.
Can you tell we're excited about this retreat?
Yay!
Get on our VIP list so we can share when we finally release the pre-release.
How do you do that, Ariel? How do they get on the VIP list for this retreat?
Well, I have a VIP list on my website. I think I need to get one on Miriam's website too, but we're working on that later today.
Yeah.
And the VIP list will also give you information. It gives you pre-release. So if you get on that list, then you will hear, because in one retreat, there's only four women max. So it is not a big event with hundreds of women. It's 4. And needless to say, we went to an expo, both Miriam and I, business to business expo this past week. And the response we get is extremely positive. The idea for a woman to be able to do this and the fact that it's tax deductible is super helpful because it is a way to improve your business. I mean, it is. It's part of marketing. It's part of strategy. It's part of all that stuff. So it's a legitimate sitting at the beach and having fun. And
even if you've been through a branding process before, I actually think it's really important to revisit it on a regular basis because your product, your service changes, your customers change, the world around you changes, and maybe your outlook on life or your experiences change. And so so the whole rediscover, refine and rebrand is really important to do, not once, but over and over and over again. And I think this allows you the opportunity to be able to do that. But as you say, I think this one's a unique retreat because of the elements that we bring together, and that self-growth as well as looking at your own business, but looking at yourself as well from both the photography side, but also the coaching side as well. I think it's going to be great. Thank you, Ariel. I've learned a lot about you this week, and I hope that our listeners have too. And that was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
See you next episode. After all, it is your brand, your story, and your success. Because Ariel and I know you matter in your business.
Thank you for listening to the You Matter in Business podcast. Please follow, share, like, and comment. We would love to hear from you. This podcast is sponsored by Ariel Faith Photography and Enrich Life Coaching. The show notes provide more information on how to contact Ariel and Miriam and any guest speakers who share in our journey together.